Hi. Okay, quite a lot to chat about with cars and motorbikes and spraying. I grabbed this one quickly, even though I'm not quite busy on it, but just to point out one thing interesting. If I built something like this, it would be, I'd be regarding it as quite different to that and the Italeri kit, which I'll speak about shortly. So this AMT Ertl is obviously a much lower quality kit than this Beetle. And when I get to this one, which difficult to say when that'll be, but I'm treating this one almost a bit more like the motorbikes. Very careful and fine paintwork, and I'd be wanting to make a sort of a high quality finish because it is so well molded, as opposed to this, which can still make a very nice kit, but you know, it's got less parts, they're way less refined in their moldings and so on. The Lancia kit, which I'll get to, is a little bit disappointing in many respects, whereas the AMT, you sort of know what you're getting. It is pretty old. So I've done a little bit of work on a first layer of spraying to get a bit of solidity on a lot of the just getting away from that yellow. It's not to say that this will be black, of course. Some parts will be black, like that for instance probably will be black, even though I'm not going to put the padding onto the inside of the bonnet or the I don't know how much they use that anymore, but certainly on many older cars they had a sort of a soft material to dampen a bit of the noise and so on. Tell me if you know if they, you know, how much that was used, or was it just a fad in the 70s and 80s. So anyway, that is just I'm going to leave it black. The inside of the body I have painted black, even though I sort of thought I wasn't going to, and it's not to say it's going to stay black, but I just wanted to break that yellow and then think about it. Now a lot of the sides are covered by this piece which goes in. Okay, I've just noticed I sort of missed out on that, but I didn't want to get black overspray onto the body anywhere, so I was sort of only spraying from the one direction. The bars of the windows, I'm okay with them remaining black on the inside. I'll have a look at a whole bunch of photos and decide what I want to do. But I did say in the previous video I want to not draw attention to the interior, but I don't mean it'll just be black like that. That is just to act as a bit of a base coat. That, however, possibly will remain to a large degree black. I'm not sure about that. Not sure about the engine bay. I'll have to give that a little bit of thought. I want it to look reasonably nice. I sprayed the rims, and that is a silver dulled down with about 1 or 2 drops of black. I was actually hoping for an even more gunmetal finish, but actually I think that came out just about perfectly. Now compare that to the very, very shiny chrome which it started off with, and then I've done that, and I'm thinking that that's just about as done as I'll do. I don't think I'm going to do anything more about the headlights. I'm okay with that sort of level of dark. It looks sort of nice, but not too nice, and that's just about the look that I want out of that. I have done the engine all black at the moment, but I will look at a number of engines and sort of give it the correct engine coloring for the period. I'm guessing a lot of this will just be dry brushed with a bit of metal color, just same with the chassis frame, just for a bit of sort of highlighted detail, but not too much. I don't really, this is not the sort of car you really want to be picking up and viewing on the inside, viewing underneath. But the engine bay is pretty important. So anyway, it's getting a little bit of work on it. I'm not really looking forward to masking the stripes, even though it's a fairly easy. Those there, for instance, and that one there, and the window surrounds. Now, I did mention to you last time, and now you can see it, so none of the ejector pin marks in the roof there will stop the window piece from going in. Well, I'm looking at a green color, a sort of a pale green. The yellow is another option, and I said I probably wasn't going to do the orange, so I'm actually thinking the green might be a bit more sort of period suitable, sort of a, don't really, it's maybe a slightly darker version of this green. I'm not really sure. I'll do a bit of hand painting, probably with acrylics, just to get a bit of semi-detail out of that on the inside there. But I do like it, despite the age of the kit and not being, high quality. I like this way more than this one. So you'll remember I have spoken about this one a little bit a while back when I got it. I don't really understand, I haven't looked on ScaleMates yet, why an Italeri kit would be like this. And what I mean by like this is very heavy plastic, very thick plastic, on not just that part, even on that. I mean, I guess a lot of the interior parts are sort of okay, but in general this is a very thick molding. And this is not at all like any model that I've seen from Italeri. So I can only guess that Italeri didn't actually make this, but they're only boxed. Now the problem with that, which I don't know if you're going to see this. No, I don't think this is going to come through. But they are big. Wherever you've got a lot of plastic drying, you've now got sink marks over there, there. And I'm talking about pretty significant sink marks. So both sides, there's one you might see over there. Yeah, that one you can see. Can you see that line there? And I absolutely don't like filling on a kit which I wasn't planning on doing to a sort of a fairly good degree. This was intended to be a little bit of a fast build. Now, you can get away with it. I mean, it's going to be visible, no question about that. But am I prepared to really sit there filling and sanding? Because that'll be a good 3 fills and sand sessions. I have to think about that. The only reason I while I was busy on the International Scout, I just decided to start cleaning up the body, which took quite a bit more cleaning up than you would imagine. But it'll be a very nice vehicle once done. So it's, that's the sort of parts. It's got enough. It's more than the International Scout. Very plain sort of rims. Tires are reasonably well molded. It does have the ridge line in the middle that'll stand out quite easily. So really it's the sink marks. And I'm not sure if I'm, while I'm not in the mood, I guess just don't work on that kit. Okay, so I sprayed the RS1000 last week, and I sprayed it with an orange base coat and then red over that, which worked sort of well. But you know, this is the one thing in modeling. Spraying is a skill which sort of just needs constant work. So you see that reflection there. You might notice that it's not as glossy as it could be. If I hold that one up, you'll notice that that part of the tank which has got the reflection on it is way more glossy. It's not too bad on top, but it changes up there. Sides are a bit different. Sides are more like this. So what happened there is that being in a little bit of a rush, I wanted to get the fairings and bodywork painted, so I sprayed, and I didn't want to do grey, I wanted the orange base, but I knew from the rims that I just cannot go anything other than gloss. If you want high gloss finish, I have to do a gloss base coat, if any base coat, and then the gloss final color. So good, the orange worked, and then I sprayed the red, but I didn't wait for it to dry for long enough. So I think what happened is it got a sort of a micro orange peel effect. So in my haste, it's okay, it's workable, and decals will work on it, and I can polish it out a little bit. But when I looked at the tank, I noticed that along the seam line there, which of course now is fixed, it didn't look like that at all. You can see now with those reflections, those reflection lines across there, you can see absolutely no break in that joint line, which is the way it should be. Even across the top there. Didn't look like that a couple of days back, so I had to sand down after my painting. It just wasn't good enough to even do on a sort of a medium level build. So I was back down to filler and plastic and partial paint, so there was a lot of color variation. I didn't want to go grey, so I mixed up an orange and a bit of red into that. Again, gloss, and this is the base coat again. Very, very nice there, and that just needs a gloss red over it. And as far as the orange peel, I can live with that on this build. It will still get that floor wax gloss coat, so after or possibly before decals as well. I'll think about that. So it'll end up a lot better than initially observed here. But anyway, done. The rest of the parts are inside, and then I've also done a bunch of spraying of black. This is like, there's actually about 50 parts that I sprayed. I just brought a few out. Now this one, which is, there's sort of a whole range. It's not that this is absolutely representative of it. And if I catch the light, you're gonna think it looks chrome, but sort of on an average view there, it's still quite blackish. So it's sort of like a black chrome. Now, if you spray even less of that Alclad chrome, you can get a variation of this black chrome, which is very, very nice. So the more layers you put, the more you get chrome. The less you put, like just one or two passes. With this chrome spraying, this Alclad I have mentioned before, it is of the least spraying that you'll ever do of anything, because it just covers on gloss black so well. And then it just depends how bright you want your chrome. So one pass and you've got a really low key black chromes. 2 passes, you've got a black chrome bordering on this. That's probably about 2 passes of the airbrush. And then after that, you just start getting to the bright chrome. So there, I have not sprayed the disc. I've only sprayed the caliper and the arm. And then I need to do masking. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see the difference between the chrome and just silver. So this is obviously just silver, and that's the chrome. Quite a big difference. Now, this is not the best piece to show that on because it's got the lines, it's got engraved lines on the disc surface, which a motorbike doesn't actually have. But they do it on these models just to make it look a little bit cooler. I still need to mask. This is not final color. That was sort of just a first coat. I will do the actual disc surface a little bit of a darker gunmetal, sort of a steel color, and the inside I'll decide on. But one thing that I did do while I was painting all the silver parts, and I was sort of near to the end, a little bit of silver left in the bottle, and I needed to do some gunmetal parts. I put in 1 or 2 drops of the black, and the amount of, so that was, I can't remember which parts that was on. The amount of, oh, it was on the rims, the International Scout rims, I think. The amount of dulled down silver was not as much as one thought, which means that if you want to do proper gunmetal, and I have done it, you know, there's a whole range of gunmetals from more black with a bit of metallic to slightly dulled silver. But if you want a quite nice gunmetal, start with a bit of black in your, whatever you're mixing your paint up in, a couple of drops of black in the bottle, and then a very little bit of silver. The silver is pretty overpowering in the black. So, and I'll show you when I paint some more. So that bright silver on the disc surface is not what I want there at all, and I have to mix up quite a dull gunmetal, or obviously you can use the various steel colors that are provided. But I quite like the idea of the mixing of silver and blacks to get your own variation of the gunmetals or steels or in it, whatever you want to call it. This will still get a little bit of more detailing. I don't want to leave that whole part there. So on the motorbikes, and of course this one as well, the more detail, the more parts you paint different colors, even if they were molded in one, and in this case being obvious that the caliper must be different, but even the bolts on the caliper and for instance the end connections there and there, the more detail work you do on the motorbike, the better it looks. Haven't made up my mind what color forks I'll do, or what color calipers. I'll sort of think about that. I'm not necessarily sticking to the absolute stock standard RS 1000, as I did say. I do love this peg method, and I have mentioned it before, for holding things, but I end up, especially with the motorbikes, because not only some parts end up being able to be put on toothpicks. Some end up on pieces of plastic which I temporarily glue onto the part because there was no hole to stick a toothpick into. In this case, so that's glued onto the bottom of the tank. And then I use a lot of pegs, and with the motorbikes there are just so many little parts. So and you have to, well, it's really beneficial if you cut to a nice sharp angle there. And a lot of the newer pegs don't have well, firstly, they're possibly plastic, but even if you find the wooden ones, they don't have those strong springs of like the ones you used to get long ago. So I only have about 25 or 30 of them. So I'm dabbling a little bit with a couple of the motorbikes. This one came to me from Nigel in Auckland. Thank you very much, Nigel, if you ever watch this. He started this, and I'll be finishing it, and I'll show you bits as I'm going. Very, very nice bike. This one, interestingly, well, as with actually a lot of race bikes or high performance bikes, the tank is not under right over there. It's a bit lower down, and it's sort of about under there, and that bit there. So this is more airbox, and that is more tank. It's not like that other NSR 500 which I showed you, which has the tank here. So that NSR 500 is a very, very specific, interesting bike. Now, that's not characteristic of the NSR 500 in general, by the way. That was only that year, 1984. All of the other NSR 500s are conventional. So just that one. Oh, I just want to point this out here. So you have got 3 different shades of gold there. And look at that exhaust. Look at the colorations there. So if one can do a little bit of interesting metal coloration, you really bring out certain aspects of the bike. Actually, I lie, this is 4 colors, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 different gold colors there, or anodized colors. So this one is Valentino Rossi. Very, very nice bike. Now this, oh, that's what I wanted to say as well. This black frame, I want to do a very low-key black chrome on that. So it is in black plastic. I will paint it black, and then just need to do a very careful chrome spraying over that to make a nice black chrome tank frame. That tank color and this blue, I'd like that to be very, very well done, and I'm thinking that the only way to do that is going to be with clear blue over chrome. So I may actually be doing, and I have done this, if you'll remember the GS 850, which GS 750 or 850? GSX 750, I think it is, that I'm busy with at the moment, and I painted the tank like 7 months ago. That I did with that method. The blue is not quite that blue. It's a little bit of a slightly more green toned blue, but the effect is very nice. Was there anything else that I needed to cover? As I said, I am still technically busy with the maths, although I sort of, if I'm in the mood to do a little bit of painting, I'll run with it and get a batch of stuff done. I need to paint this red. I'll probably do that right after I finish this video. Get that done so that that tank can then dry for a number of days. Anyway, happy modeling. Until next time. Cheers.